Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Novia Miranda and my MPM 18210030H, and I want to be review about all material by Mr. Fitra Ramdhani. First, organizing and controlling classroom activities. You can say, shall we begin by look at it? Or I wonder if I might be helpful or a good idea too. You can getting and giving information. If you require some information, you can say, could you tell me if, when, how much, why? I wonder if you could tell me. I would like to know. When someone gives some information, you can reply, "Oh, I see. That is interesting. Really? Thanks for letting me know." If someone hasn't given you enough information, you can say, "Could you tell me some more about it? Uh, I I would like some else it look like to know." If someone asks you for information, you can reply, "As far as I know, I have no idea. I'm afraid." If you want to give someone information, you can say, "I would like you to know that. Did you know that?" Or you can write, agreeing and disagreeing. If you want to agree with someone, you can say, "I see what you mean. I agree entirely. That's a good point idea." That if you want to say agree, and if you want to disagree, you can say, "I can see what do you mean about. I don't think so because I don't think I don't think it's a good idea." Next, practical assessment. One, work in parts. Look at their extreme opinions. 1. Smoking should be forbidden in office. 2. All offices should have flowers in them. 3. All companies should over their make up conversation about each topic using the expression above. Example, I think it will be a good idea if all firms had facilities for looking after preschool children. I can see what you mean, but it would be difficult thing to introduce. I As a rule, when introducing one, say something like Mrs. Beatty may introduce Mr. Hogarth, and turning to Mr. Earl simply say, Miss Mrs. Beatty, that is all that is necessary, but one may add, Mr. Earl has just returned from a visit to France, or some other bit of information will give the interested people a change, uh, uh, and which will give the introduced people a chance to start conversation. That usual respond to an introduction is "How do you do?" which is a sort of greeting and not a question about your health. And the best answer to this practical assessment. First, answer the following question. 1. What are the few basic rules of introducing people? Which is the simplest way of introduction? Third, which are the more formal forms of introduction? which are conversational forms. 5. How many men be a man to a man to a woman? How does one introduce his friend? After an introduction. 9. What is the usual response to an introduction? 10. What is expect as an answer? How do you do? 2. Say how you are the behavior. First, you introduce a man to a man. 2. You introduce a man to a woman. Third, you introduce a young girl to a married woman. Say how to respond to an introduction in this situation. 3. Practice introducing each other. 4. Read and practice the following phases of conversation, paying attention to formal and informal greeting farewells. You say how do you do to a person when formally introduced, or when you meet him or her for the first time. This formula may be used almost any time of day. You say it without expecting any answer, but how do you do? You say good morning to people you know little, or when your greeting is more formal. This formula is used before lunch. To just you know well, you may say simply morning. You say good afternoon to people you do. You say good afternoon to people you didn't know very well between lunchtime and tea time. You say good evening to people you don't know very well after 6 p.m. To those whom you know well, you may say evening. The proper universal greeting is hello. This formula is usually used with the first time hi. After an informal or friendly greeting often comes the question how are you? Your standard reply is I'm fine, thank you. And you? First, what is the most accepted formal way of greeting which is suitable any time of day? 1. What standard replies are there too? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is the widely used formula of an informal greeting? What are the standard replies to question how are you? When people fart, what do they usually say that is suitable any time of day? 5. Which are the less formal ways of saying goodbye or see you? When do you do say good night? 2. List, list what is right to say and how to behave. When greeting a person you do know well in the morning, after lunchtime, after 6 o'clock. 2. When greeting a friend, when parting with a person you do not very well in the morning, after lunch, some after 6 o'clock, after 8 o'clock night. 4. When parting with a friend. 5. When formally introduced. Third, say how you respond to 1. How do you do? 2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hello, how are you? 4. Say what to say. 1. When greeting a person you do not know well. 2. When greeting a person you know well. 3. When parting formally. 4. When saying by informally. 5. Practice greeting each other and taking leave. 6. Read and practice the following phrases of conversation. First, read and practice the following phrases of conversation. 1. A. Pass me the shirt, please. B. Certainly. Here you are. A. Thank you. Work in pairs campus dialogue on making offer. Introduction use the verb should. Example, follow introduction. You should follow this introduction, or you are spoil the instrument. You shouldn't follow the instruction. They have become